This is Jeff Byers. Welcome back. We're going to finish the tutorial up with finishing the high poly dice. And this is our last. This is the last thing we'll have to do is put everything together. We went and duplicated all these pieces, and what we're going to do is we're going to select all of these, and we're going to go ahead and create a layer, and we'll just call this divots. Alright, and we're going to go ahead and select all these, and we're going to go ahead and do a mesh separate. Alright, so what we're going to do in here is going to select this one right here. We're going to have 6 on top, and we're going to have 3 here, and let's say we'll have 1 here, and 4 here, and let's say here we'll have 5 here. Okay, so 1, 3, so we need 2. Alright, so 6, 3, 4, 2, 1, 5. Okay, looks like we've got everything. So we're going to go in here and click on the high poly. What we're going to do is on the divots, we're going to do a template. And the high poly, we're going to turn off the reference so we can actually select it. And we're actually going to go into face mode and just click on the ones we want to take out, cut holes. So I'm going to cut holes for these guys here. And go to the top and just cut holes where we need to. And actually a faster way to do this would be to use the paint tool, paint selection tool. So I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to hold down the B key and my left mouse button, and scale that down to something like that. I'm going to hold the shift key and I'm going to paint. Whoops, let's go back into face mode and paint these. Makes it a little bit faster. There we go. And actually it's a little more fun to do selections this way. A little more efficient. There we go. And the bottom. Great. Let's take a look and make sure everything looks like it's selected. Looks pretty good. Alright, so now we're ready to hit the delete key, and that creates the holes for us. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click on, turn the template off, and have those selected. Let's go ahead and turn off reference on the divots. And let's go ahead and click on object mode. And let's go ahead and select the whole thing. Let's turn off the grid now. There we go. We're going to go ahead and combine. Okay, and then we got to select all the vertices of the entire cube. And we are going to go into, and let's look at the vertices count, 1558. Let's go into Edit Mesh and go to Merge option. We got it set to 0.001. Now I'm going to zoom in here a little bit and make sure our closest points will not be merged together. Go ahead and click merge. There we go. I notice that we have changed the way the cubes look by merging them. We've got some shading errors. Let's take a look at see what happened here. Alright, so let's click on these. Okay. Looks like I have one. Right. Let's click on the object and let's hit the 3 key and see what happened. And let's turn off wireframe on shaded. That looks really, really good. Looks like it's smoothing very nicely. Okay, so I'm not too worried about the shading issues and problems that we had, because now we can go in here and smooth it. Let's click on it again, and I'm going to go ahead and edit, do an edit, delete by type history, modify freeze transformations, and if we're really worried about this, we'll go into edge mode, select the entire thing, and go to normals and harden edge. Alright, so let's go ahead and save this out. Turn wireframe on shaded. File, save scene as. And save this file. Okay, last thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and duplicate this. Do a Control D. And let's just put that in a layer. And this will be high on divot. Save that. Close that down. And let's go ahead and smooth this mesh. Smooth to 3. There we go. And let's turn off the wireframe. You can see how that's smooth. It's pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and turn the wireframe off. It looks really good. Next thing I'm going to test is, let's go ahead and test it by selecting it, and let's do a cleanup. So go to mesh, and we're going to do cleanup. And we're going to clean up matching polygons, select matching polygons. So we're just going to select them. We're going to keep construction history, faces with more than 4 sides, and let's click on cleanup. And it will highlight anything that needs to be cleaned up, and this looks good. Okay? Alright. Let's go back into wireframe, and make sure it's centered. And let's go ahead and save object. And let's go ahead and do edit, delete by type history. And modify freeze transformations. There we go. Let's turn on the low poly. Okay. Alright, the low poly is still there, and is actually looks really good. They fit really good together. So we're going to go ahead and save this out. Let's go ahead and do an edit, delete by type history on the low poly, and a freeze transformations on the low poly. Let's go ahead and export that out. Export utility OBJ. Go to export selection, OBJ export, and let's call this dice low poly new. Okay, and let's go with the high poly. and export that. And let's call this high poly. And export selection. Alright. And then we'll bring both of these into XNormal. Now, the thing that I need to reiterate is that we need to have the low poly needs to be UV mapped. So make sure the low poly is UV mapped. Okay, so let's double check on that. It is UV mapped, but it needs to be, I need to merge, move and sew the UV, so I'll do that before, and then I'll have to export it again if I want to keep the seams, keep the seams few. The fewer the seams, the better. I'll do that, and anyway, we'll go into XNormal and pull the alpha and normal maps, or ambient occlusion and the normal maps.